to bring more positive energy in. It seems like we just reconnected, so another welcome. Good morning. Welcome to the Wingman's Path, to positivity, to raising your vibration, and to creating a life of your dreams. That's what it's all about today. I just ran through a little bit. If you've been with me already, we talk about how sharing these practices with your loved ones and your families and your friends and doing them together with your village or your community, it just brings more positive energy into the whole village, especially when we start sharing that spark of positive energy. So I thank you for sharing them, and I'm thrilled you're here with me on the Wingman's Path. Nothing I like more than a whole lot of people walking the path, helping each other, helping themselves. It's a beautiful thing, and it's unbelievable to see that vibration and that type of energy. So I thank you for being here with me today for today's practice, which I call Let It Become Obvious. Let it be obvious. I'll tell you how it started. It's a great story. Actually, this practice started about 5 years ago when the Eagles the Philadelphia Eagles, my favorite football team, had just hired Chip Kelly to be their coach. And as Chip Kelly came in his first couple press conferences, there was only one question that every media person had on their mind. Everyone asked him the same question. Every press conference, every meeting, every moment was, who's going to be your starting quarterback? Who's going to be your starting quarterback? Because at the time he had two viable alternatives. There was what you would call an actual quarterback controversy between someone by the name of Nick Foles, who was actually back with the Eagles again, and someone named Michael Vick. And what Chip Kelly said was beautiful. Because he said, fellas, it's only April. The games don't start till September. By September, it'll be obvious who my starting quarterback is. And I thought, so often in our lives, the external circumstances that have nothing to do with anything become the media, peppering us with all the noise in our head. And if we can just quiet the media down, quiet those voices, those noises, all the different chit-chat going on in our head, and let it become obvious. Let whatever it is you're looking into become obvious for you. Now, obviously, if you have a deadline today for it, this might not be the correct practice for you today. But if you have some time, this is the perfect practice to remind yourself to just get quiet and let it become obvious. It will become obvious if you allow it to. So that's what I'd like us to practice back and forth. Just saying it to each other, hey, let it become obvious. Let it be obvious. And as we do, I want you to allow it to get into your subconscious so you remember this when there's so much noise going on in your head, you forget it. I want this to pop back into your mind, and if we can get that into your subconscious, that we just want to let it be obvious, you know, we'll save a whole lot more of our energy, which we can utilize in so many better ways, right? Just allowing. And when you do, it's like you and the universe become a perfect team at that point, when you just allow. So join me. Let's just say let it become obvious, or if you'd rather let it be obvious, or I guess you could do the let it be. But I think add the obvious, because I think you want to make sure it's in your subconscious that it will become obvious. So join me and let's say, let it become obvious. Don't fight it, just let it become obvious. I can't tell you how many times I've used this practice. Let it become obvious, or between Jan and I, one of us would say, hey, let's just let it become obvious. It will become obvious. And I think what happens when you say that to yourself is you just quiet yourself down. You relax yourself, and that is so much of a better vibration to be sending out into the universe, that you're relaxed, you're calm, and you know the answer will come to you. You have no worries about that. Let it be obvious, right? Let it become obvious to you. It will unveil itself to you. If you don't fight it the whole time. If you just let it be. Let it become obvious. You know, and as I'm saying it to you, I really am saying it to myself. Let it become obvious. And I want you to say it to yourself, so it really gets into your subconscious that you let it become obvious. And you start relaxing and knowing you're in control and that you have everything under control right now. I thank you so much for joining me today. The Wingman's Path is coming to you from Voorhees, New Jersey today. It's our latest stop where we've been doing a dog sit for Barney and Betty. They're two great dogs. It's been a wonderful dog sit. And I thank you for joining me and sharing positive energy with me today, because I know how important it is for all of us to really reconnect, sort of like reboot our computer, right? Reboot ourselves and reconnect with each other, because that's one of the best ways to do it, if not the best way to do it. So I thank you for reconnecting with me. I thank you for providing and sharing positive energy. Have a wonderful day, one in which everything becomes very obvious to you. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Your Wingman Michael, signing off.